All right, welcome to Elementor Silicon Valley Meetup number 8. We do quick introductions, your name and where you're from. Going to keep it brief today. We'll go ahead and start with Ed. You want to introduce yourself, Ed?
Sure, Ed Nunez, and in the Philadelphia area. Thanks.
All right, Gerald.
Gerard Lum, Mountain View, California.
Freed.
Freed, I'm in Seattle, Washington.
Very good. Stacy.
Hi, Stacy Wilkinson. I'm in Northern Colorado.
Eric.
Hi, it's Eric from Amsterdam, Holland.
Welcome.
Wow.
Katrina.
Oh, I'm Katara. I'm from Ontario in Canada.
Welcome. Makiko.
Kiko Murdoch. I'm from Sunnyvale, California.
Lionel. I get that right?
Hi. I'm from the East Bay, Northern California.
Very good. LaDonna.
Hi, I'm from Manhattan, Kansas, and we're called a Little Apple.
And JV.
My name is Jeff, and I'm from Westminster, Maryland.
Lindsay.
I'm Lindsay Gower. I'm in Pleasant Hill, California.
Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Winchester. I'm also in Philadelphia.
And last but not least, Crystal.
Hi, I'm Crystal, and I'm in Berkeley, California.
Great. Glad you're all here. We have a guest speaker, Sharon Yates, joining us from the Elementor Dallas Meetup. And I'll go ahead and turn over to Sharon. You should be able to grab the screen. And go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hold on a minute. Let me get settled here and make sure I've got everything set up. And you're going to take care of chat and stuff, right? So, because I'm not going to look in
I'll
there.
keep an eye on the chat. I don't normally, but
Oh,
I'm
really?
usually presenting, but I'll watch it for you, sure.
Okay. All right. So let's see.
By the way,
And
Sharon will be hosting Getting Yoast Right on April 20th at her meetup. Oh, you can post. I'll post the link in the notes there in a bit.
Okay.
Just a second. Hold on a minute. Not the one I wanted. I want this one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thought this was going to work. Why is it working? Go.
See your screen.
Up. I clicked too fast. Okay. I think that's good. So you can see my screen, right? But not me.
See your screen. I can see you off to the side here with everyone else.
Oh, okay, good. I have 3 screens now, so I get confused where everything is sometimes.
You got to start with 2.
I should have just stuck with 2 because sometimes the 3, I like the 3, but during the presentation it does get confusing. Oh, where am I going now? Okay, so I'm guessing before we get started, I'll give a little intro about myself, but I want to thank you all for joining the Elementor Silicon Valley Meetup this afternoon. And thank you for having me as your guest speaker. Here's just a little bit about me. I have been working in the web industry for about 25 plus years. And yes, that does include what we consider the dark ages of the web. So I have a business called Creative Mouse Studio. And I'm also a registered Elementor expert. And as Greg mentioned, I am one of the community leaders that lead the Dallas Elementor group. although I do live in Galveston, Texas, so that's a disclaimer. And I do love to travel and go to far off locations to scuba dive. So that is, I have a scuba club based on that. So any divers ever want to come join me, feel welcome. Okay, let's see. I want to actually switch a little bit here. So where is it? Where is it? Okay, here it is. Okay, so in today's meeting, we're going to be building this blog. We're going to be customizing a blog post. Actually, the entire site is a blog. So we're building your blog and being able to customize some blog posts. So just a little intro. This blog has, as you can see, a beautiful header, and it has a clickable menu items and also some social media icons. And these are what we're going to refer to as featured posts. And it also has, excuse me, some blogs that are clickable. And then we also have a sidebar with other blog posts that we're going to set up, and a place for advertisements, and also blocks that we can link to other places on the web. And then if we keep scrolling down, we have this nice footer that also has an Instagram feed and, you know, another, excuse me, the bottom of the footer. So that's what we're going to be building today. And excuse me, I just need to take a little drink. And of course, the website is fully responsive, so it will work on a tablet as well as any mobile devices. And as you notice, we'll go through the steps that this is going to be, our entire website is built without using any code. So we're going to be building this using WordPress and Elementor Pro. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is understand what we're building. And so it's very important that you understand the structure and design principles so that you can have the confidence to build this kind of website yourself. And what I'm going to show you this is Adobe XD, and it's oftentimes a really good idea for you to go through your layouts and just kind of give you a rough draft of what you're going to be building. So this is kind of what I've done here, is put together a design layout. So this is kind of our structure that we're going to be building here. We have our header that we kind of looked at, and then the featured posts. We also have a subscribe area. And then we have two columns where the blog posts are going to go in our sidebar, and then also our footer. Now, obviously, we all know that we got to keep some pieces to go across all of our web pages, and that's commonly our header and footer. And so you can see here on my blog post page, and also on my category page, that we've kept the header and the footer, and also the sidebar. You'll notice that we can repeat our sidebar from the home page as well. So these are kind of some of the items that we're going to be building. We may not have time to build all of it, but I have some shortcuts to so that we can get through all of it. And let's get back. Oh, and let's see, I'm sorry. I went past it, sorry. Okay, so let's go back. And these are the steps that we're going to be taking as we go through it. So I'm going to show you what is installed, starting with what I have set up on my machine. And of course, I'm going to show you the header and footer template, what was done there. And then, okay, who clicked? And then we're going to build the blog post list and our sidebar, and then build a category page and also a blog post page. And then we're not going to necessarily build the feature posts and emails subscribe. I've got those templates already ready, but I'll review those with you because I'm trying to make some shortcuts just in case of time. Okay, so let's see here. And then before we get started, also I wanted to just make a suggestion that if you remember from the homepage, the colors that I use, if you remember in the main menu that we had kind of a light green background, and we also reuse that background in the subscribe area. So what you want to do in purposes for design is like use one main color and then use various tints of that same color throughout the website. And here's what I mean for tints. You'll notice that our menu items also have another hint of green, and then also our icons and also our button. So we're just changing the tint, but keeping it in the same color area. And then also notice the same is for fonts. Even though I have, sorry, I went past something. So in our fonts, notice that we have the same font here as well as in our sidebar. So we can use those over and over. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with our style guide. So we definitely want to keep that in mind as well when we go through this. Okay, so that's a little bit about what we're going to do. Now I actually need to get out of that. So let's see, or do I want to get out of that? Yeah, okay. So we're going to jump over to WordPress and kind of show you what, I guess the first thing is to, okay, where am I? I'm sorry, my demo. Where's my demo stuff? Okay. So in WordPress, you'll notice that under our parents, let's start here so you'll know that the only, okay, well, maybe my web is going down now, Greg. My screen was rewrote so slow. So anyway, the themes that I tend to stick to is the hello theme and the hello child, because this is very clean and doesn't have any CSS or JavaScript or any heavy loading stuff. So this allows me to be able to create things without a lot of theme CSS and JavaScript involved in the layout. So, and you'll notice as we build how well we can do that. And then in the plugins, some of these are just things that I prefer, but I'll go over what I have installed. The admin menu editor is an item that I prefer because if you'll notice on my dashboard, it's very organized and it's organized how I like to work. So, you know, something that I'm going to be using more frequently, like the templates, I like to move it up to where I can see it. And so I kind of just organize it to what I use the most to what I use less. And so that's what the admin menu editor will do for me. Anti-spam bee, you know what that does. Now we for this particular project, we installed the classic editor because we're not teaching Gutenberg. So I thought it was probably wiser for us not to teach Gutenberg at the same time that we're trying to do a blog post. So that's why we installed the classic editor here. And then we're going to take use of a duplicate page, and then the Elementor custom skin, and you'll notice Elementor and Elementor Pro is installed. I like the granular controls because I like the little button that gets me back to my dashboard very quickly. And then Loganizer is just a security thing that I use. And Manage WP is my dashboard for all of my websites. So this is just a plugin that allows me to connect everything together. And then Smush, obviously that's for our media files. It'll reduce the file size and also improve our performance and stuff. And I like the little scroll bar that I can use, which is WP Front Scroll. So now that we've gotten through all that, let's also take a look at some of the templates that I have done, which you'll notice that let's go to our header and footer, because that's what we're going to start out with anyway. Now, as I said, to save time, I've already put this together, but I'm just going to review the site settings and the global colors and fonts that I've set up for it. So in our header, you'll notice that I have an image here. Didn't mean to move it, but and then just a little content and a little divider. And then we also have our menu and our social icons. And let's just take a look at our site settings. And I have some predefined global colors. And you'll notice that these are the greens. I have a variation of just 2 and that I use on the site. So it's ready and set up. And then our fonts, our primary that we use is a Merriweather, and then our secondary, oh, sorry, I think there's one that's a Montserrat. Okay, maybe it was in my other, yeah. Okay, so there's Carla. I think for my site settings, I set this up before I did the blog, but in the blog, I actually have Merriweather and Montserrat. We use those intermittently. And then the colors for our H1 through H3 are being used. I think I actually use H4, but I didn't set it up here because I didn't think I was going to be using that. But it's better to set them all up at the same time.
Sharon,
I was just, yeah.
got a quick question. Stacy asked, where do you build the templates? Kind of a long subject.
Well, we're actually going to build a template. So it's in the theme builder. That's where we build it. And we're going to build one, so don't worry. Okay, and so that's the header. And then, so I'm in the theme builder. If you guys have never used Elementor Pro, there are the advantage of having Elementor Pro. It allows us to build templates. And so we have, as you notice, the templates menu here on the admin bar. And then it has some tabs, the saved templates, which is a little different than the theme builder. So we have saved templates, we have pop-ups, and we have a theme builder. And we can also assign categories. So we're going to spend most of our time in the theme builder and also saving some other templates as well. And then, so let's just take a quick look at the footer. Okay, did I not pick the footer? So in our footer, we have an icon and our fake user name that we're using for this project, and an Instagram. And in this area is the Instagram feed, but it's not going to show up in our template. It's only going to show up on our live page. And then we have another menu bar at the bottom with our social icons. So it's very simple to do. In case you're wondering how I did this, is basically this is just an icon. But if you didn't notice that we now have a positioning tab under advanced, and we can put items in line. So that's what I did with this icon and this title. Both of these are set in the positioning to inline. So now that they're on the same line. Okay, so I'm going to exit to the dashboard here. I think my mouse is not working. Okay, come on. Let's see. All right, something's happening here. Just a minute. Come on. I think I should have rebooted before I started. My machine is, or something is going really slow right now. Oh, great. I'm sorry, guys. My machine is actually hung up now. So give me a second to get this back to normal. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Greg, if it doesn't respond any better, I'm going to have to just reboot. I'm sorry, but this is just crazy. It's going too slow for me.
Yeah, I don't see your mouse anymore.
Yeah.
You're locked up.
Yeah, on my laptop portion. I mean, this is my monitor, but still, what I need is on my. Oh, come on. And of course, everybody with noise decides to come outside today. Okay, come on. Okay, come on. Okay. All right. I think maybe I might got it to work now. Something's not. Go away, go away. Okay. All right. Okay. So did the intro. You know, I don't know why this, I think pages moved around on me or something. Something happened. Oh my God.
You think it's your computer or the internet connection?
No, it's not the internet. Something I just, because it wasn't responding, it deleted one of my slides.
Oh no.
So I just undid. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is create our blog posts so that we'll have, we're going to have some posts that we can work with. And I've already got some done, but just so that we go through the process, we're going to actually create one. So we go to our post area, and so I have 7 of these done. So we're going to work with 8. And remember, I showed you the plugin called Duplicate Page so that we can work faster. We're going to actually duplicate this. Or I don't, actually, that's not the one I wanted.
When's
So
that going to be in core?
is what?
I said, when's that going to be in core?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Let me delete that one. There was one that I actually want to work with before I, yeah, it's this one. And when it duplicates that, you'll notice that you'll get one that says draft. So all we're going to do is do a quick edit, and let's see, let me make up a title because we got to be healthy. Be in your, let's see, title. And that's going to be in categories. We're going to uncheck fruits, and let's just update that. And then I'm going to go into the post so that you can see. So remember that we installed the classic editor to overwrite the Gutenberg blocks. And because we did that, we now have our text editor where it's a lot easier to dump text in here. And some of you may be laughing at some of the content because this is Ipsum, but I think it's Office Ipsum that I did use on this. And if you read some of the lines very closely, it's about clients. So some responses that you get from clients. So I hope it's very entertaining for you. So we're going to look at, I have obviously some content and an image here and another image that we align to the left of the content and a subtitle. So we're just able to dump our content in here. And then we also have a featured image, which is also very important in working with our blog. So we want to make sure we make use of that, and that is always filled up. And then we are also using our categories. You want to use categories because they're very important on a blog. If you have a lot of blog posts that's going to be displayed, you want to make sure that you have them categorized. Okay, and so we're going to publish this. No, this must be the day everybody's doing something outside. Okay, so let's see. Now that we have this, we can view this page, but obviously it's not going to look very good because we don't have our template. Notice, you know, it's just very basic. It's got the leave a reply, and we don't have our sidebar. So we haven't created anything but a blog post. So we're going to fix all that to make it look nice. Okay. So now we are actually going to go and create our blog post list, and we are going to create that in our home page because, as I showed you, in our preview, this is what our home page is going to look like, and this is our blog post list. So we want to be able to take all those blog posts that we have and present them in a kind of beautiful layout format. So to do that, we're going to go to pages. And since I have some already created, we're going to create a new one. So we're going to work with a new home page. And let's see what I want to call it. Okay. And I want to make sure I assign the full width template. We don't have to do it here. We can do it once we're inside of Elementor, but this is just something that I'm used to doing. So there's other ways to do several things. So, and then from here, we are going to go into Elementor. And remember that we're going to have 2 columns because we already have our header and footer, and now we want to create our 2 columns. And to do that, we're just going to go to our section area, and notice that our section has some things, our structures to help us out. And remember, our blog structure had a left side and a right side. So I'm going to pick this one, and then I am just going to kind of format this a little bit. We go over to advanced, and I want to make sure I do the margins right. Let's see, what did I have this? 30 top, okay. Is it margins or padding? Oh, it wasn't a margin, sorry. I don't want to do that. I want to do the padding. Okay, so I'm going to do padding for 30 at my top and 100 pixels down at my bottom. And now we're ready to create our blog post list. And we're going to do that by using Elementor Pro from our widgets. So we'll go over to our widgets and notice that I have a Pro section. And right here at the top is our posts. And that's what we're going to be working with. And I just have to stop and ask, can you guys still hear me?
I can.
Okay, because
We can hear you. A little background noise, but I think we command
yeah,
it.
I have a lot of background noise right now because there's a blower right next to my window here.
Why don't you yell at them to stop it?
It's in the parking lot next to me. I can't see him. I have a fence between me and the parking lot. He's probably going to come over here now. It's like, so I apologize. I'm
That's
sorry
okay.
for all the noise.
We can still hear you.
Okay, So we're going to take this post widget and drag it over. And notice that it automatically fills with all of our posts that we have available. But obviously, you know, it's not quite up to par. It's not what we looked at, you know, over here. So we have a little formatting to do. So we want to make it all nice and streamlined. And so the first thing that you see is our skin. And so we have a choice of what kind of skin. Right now it's showing the classic. And what I used was the cards. Excuse me. Although I like the cards because it has an outline border around it and a little shadow behind it. But it's perhaps we don't want all of these elements in there, and we can take care of that too. So so I'm going to keep that on cards, but I want to change the columns to just list 2 columns for us. And remember we had 8 blog posts, and I'm going to actually tell it I want all 8 of those to show. And we're going to show the image and the image ratio. All of this is good. Now we get to the title and the excerpt. So I want to take a little bit of the excerpt out and change that to 15 so that I just get a couple of lines in there. And then let's see, I want to get rid of this meta stuff. So I don't want comments. So I'm just going to X that out. And on the read more, I'm going to take the arrow out as well. This little tag here is referred to as a badge. You don't want to show that. And I also don't want to show my picture. So I'm going to take the little avatar away. So now it's starting to look a little bit cleaner and streamlined. But now I just need to change some things around before I start styling it, because I want to style it a little bit more. But under our query, notice that we have our posts. And I just wanted also, by default, it'll sort everything by date, order by, or excuse me, you can select to order it by date, title, you know. So we're going to stick with the date, that's fine. But I like to do ascending, at least for this circumstance, because that's exactly what I set up before. So once we're going to change that. And now I think we're ready to go style everything. So we're going to go over to the style tab, and this columns gap, you'll notice that we can change that, and that gets bigger or smaller. And we're going to leave that actually at 30. And then the rows, which is in between here, and that, to me, that's a good spacing, and it's set at 35. So now that I have a card, I can actually make some changes, and I'm not going to make anything, I think, to the card. I think I'm just going to jump to setting up my title to the colors that I actually have in my palette. So I'm just going to jump down here to content, and in the title, I want to change that to my primary color. I want it to use my typography. And then I am going to change the spacing a little bit here, I think to 10. And then I want to change the meta color also to use this slate gray. And then I want to change this to our text color and change this to our text typography. And I also want to fix some spacing here as well. Okay, and then read more is okay. It's a link. It's taken that from my style, so this is fine. I think if I wanted to play with this a little bit more, I might have set up the fonts to be a little bigger. I tried to do at least 1 to about 1.5 M for accessibility reading, but I kind of just did this on the fly, so I'm going to leave everything as it is, just pretend that it's okay. Also, another thing too, notice that when I scroll over the headers that it underlines, because it's a link. And this is also an accessibility rule. They suggest as accessibility, we've gotten away from underlining links, but some of the accessibility rules are coming back to where all links should be underlined. And aesthetically, I still don't like that. So, but what I did is I compromised. So when I hover over, at least they're underlined. So, and we're not talking about accessibility here, but I'm trying to practice some of it. Okay, let's see what else we're going to do. So we did that, we changed that. Okay, settings. I think we're actually good to go here. So all of this looks pretty good. And we have all 8 of our posts. Now, if we had more, obviously, because it's our homepage, we would probably want to add some pagination. We're not going to do that here. We have another place that we're actually going to add some pagination to. So let's just update that. And now, since I have a new homepage, I need to go and change that in my settings. So remember that if you ever change, something that was set up to default, that you need to change it here in your settings. And so since we're working on this, this is the one that we want to review. And so I'm going to save that. And then also I need to make the adjustment to our menu as well, because now that I changed that, this is no longer any good. And I want this new one. And I want to delete the old one that I had there. But I'm going to keep the label as it was. I don't want a long label. And then we're going to save that. Okay.
Sharon, we
So
got
now,
a question from LaDonna.
Okay.
Asking what dimensions you use for post images.
Let me see if I can go. Oh, actually. I'm sorry, I want to get my posts. These are all, I think, the post ones. Yeah. Okay, so you don't have to set your images to the size that you're using in the post. This, as you can see, this one is 1800 by 1146. But you'll notice that in our posts, it automatically adjusts it to the size of this the area that I was using. So let me go back over again. And we can control that. We can control that in a setting. So if you'll notice, we have an image size set to 300 here. And when we go and look at mobile and stuff, we're going to make some changes, but not right now. We'll look at the mobile version a little bit later. But so right now for this, since I'm designing for the desktop right now, it's going to stay at 300 here. And we can also set the ratio. So you'll notice here, if I change the ratio, it's zooming more into the image. But I want more of the picture to show. So I'm going to leave that back to 66. So you see how you get more versus less of the image based on that ratio. So you can use these to resize your images how you want them to appear.
One other question, you used pixels instead of percent on your padding. Any reason why you didn't use percent?
Okay, so sometimes I'm just used to working with pixels. I don't have to use percents all the time. I mainly use percentage in like the column and column widths. I mean, you don't have to use, you can use everything intermittently. You don't have to stick to all the time percentage versus pixels. I mean, it's just how you like to work. And I'm more comfortable knowing how much spacing I need in pixels than I know in percentage.
Likewise. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So we did take a look at our homepage, and now since we're already in our homepage template, so well, it's not a template. I'm sorry, wrong word. We're on a page, but now we can work on our sidebar. So let's go. Let's move over. Okay, come on, move. Okay, so the process that we're going to do for this, remember that we want to use our sidebar multiple times, but we got to create the sidebar first. So we're going to create the sidebar on our home page, and then we're going to save it as a template so that we can reuse it on other pages. And then once it becomes a template, then we can place that where we can make change. Excuse me. Once it becomes a template, we make any changes that we want to make. We want to do that in the template, so any changes that we make take place across the board. We don't want to make the changes. In fact, I'm going to show you, you can't make, sorry. In fact, you're not going to be able to make changes once we remove it and assign the template to a page. So just to show you where this is going to go, sorry. I'm actually going to open up another window so I don't have to keep opening and closing things. So under our templates, we're going to, when we save it, it's going to be in the Save Template area. And you'll notice that when we're in the Save Templates area, we have different tabs. You'll notice in the Theme Builder, we have tabs for the header, the footer. You see a single post, single page. So, but under Save Templates, it's a little bit different. We have a page, a section, and a global widget. So you'll be able to kind of work with these, when you're saving different types of templates. Okay, and we're going to jump back over here.
Nikiko asked a quick question. Do you use EMs for font size?
I do on occasion. I have, just one second. A long time ago when they started coming out with M's, in fact, I don't have the rims on here, but this was so long ago, I created this little cheat sheet for myself, and it has points. And the reason why I have points on here, because I worked with a lot of graphic artists that used points. So I had to be able to convert points, pixels, M's, and percent. So this was a little cheat sheet I made. And then at the time that when I made this, our default was a 12 point, and this is so faded I can't read it anymore, 12 point, 10 pixel, 1M, 100%. That was our settings, because I think we had created our own style sheet and that was our settings. Now, depending on the style sheet, like now, for me, I like to use a default of 18 pixel font, but to relate that in M's, it's a 1.125 M. So I will go between M's. I haven't really started using the rims a lot, but I know the M's a lot better. Plus, it's on my cheat sheet. So I don't know if you guys want to do that. There's a, I think if you just do a search for M's versus rims, you can get a table like this and make your own cheat sheet. That's probably a longer answer than you wanted, but that's so. And I do go between, because I go back and forth. It just depends. Like I know the default, 18 pixel, how much that is in M. Anything else, I don't know. But a lot of time, it is better to use M's. I'll tell you that, because it does migrate better between browsers. All browsers read pixels and points differently. So it is better if you try to educate yourself on using the M's and rims. I do know that. Okay, so I hope that answered that question. Oh my God. Go back to sleep. Okay, so now my cat's awake. Okay, and as you know, we have the right column over here, so we're going to use this to build our sidebar. But before we start dropping in our elements, I want to kind of get rid of some spacing, because what we're going to do is to kind of set this up so we can use it as a template. But if you've used WordPress and Elementor, actually Elementor is the, you can save as a template. So if you used Elementor before, you know that you can't save a column as a template. So if I right click on here, I don't have any way to save this column as a template, but this is where I'm going to set up my sidebar. And you'll notice, even if I wanted to save this post, I don't have the ability to save it as a template. I can save it as a global widget, but that's not what I want to do. Only on a section do you have a capability to save that as a template. So what I'm going to do is actually set this column up so that I can make a template. But to do that, I am going to make sure I have no extra spacing. And I'll tell you also, I have a snippet of Elementor. I have an Elementor snippet CSS that I use as a default setup all the time, but I did not put it in here. So that's why I wanted to kind of show you guys how to get rid of extra spacing and because Elementor automatically has that. In case you didn't know, there's always spacing added, margins and paddings. So to get rid of that, we just go over here and unlink them, and this sets them all to 0. So my next thing I'm going to do is drag an intersection over. And as you can see, I still have a little bit of spacing there, but I'm going to get rid of that by going to my section now and just getting rid of that. Now I don't need 2 columns, I only need 1. So I'm going to delete this one. And even in this column, I'm going to get rid of any extra spacing there. Okay. Now the thing that we have to watch out for, you know that we have the column and now we have an intersection, but we want all of our content to go in this intersection. So we can't place anything outside of that intersection. We want to make sure everything goes in there. Okay. Honey, I can't feed you right now. You have to wait till I'm done. Okay. She drives me crazy sometimes. All right. Just one second. All right. So now we're going to start designing our first part, which has an image and a couple of titles. So we're going to drag our image widget over. I think I need a new battery in my mouse. And I'm going to add the heading, make sure, and you can tell from this blue line. And if you have trouble getting stuff in there, oftentimes what I do is I actually go in and add some padding down at the bottom so that I can make sure and you can take it away later when you're done working. And that way you can ensure that you're actually getting everything in that intersection. So that's kind of a way to help you work with that. Let's see. And then I want one more title. Oh wait, the title, yeah, I want one more heading here. And then I know that we're going to use some text. And that's in there. And then I know that I'm going to use, I think, another title, but let me make sure I got my notes going. Okay. So my image, let's add our image here. And I think, yeah, so I have a profile picture. And also, again, we were talking about accessibility stuff, but whenever you're using images, make sure you have your alt text in there. Don't leave your images unless it's a background image, but you know, don't leave your images without alt text. Okay, and then our content in our first title is going to be, and I'm going to change this to an H3, and I'm going to center that. And then our next title is going to be an H4. And we're going to center that. And then we're going to style this first. And we're going to change. For this one, we want our typography to be Montserrat. And we're going to set this, I think, at 14 pixels. I mean, I'm doing pixels for this. And I'm going to change the weight to 300. And then assign our button green. And then, oh, one more thing. I think I also need to do a transform to uppercase here. Then we jump back over and just put oh wait, there was one more thing I have to set up. I want to add some line spacing. I think I'll set that to 3. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Now let's go to our text editor, and we're going to align that to be centered. And I am just going to assign my regular to that. But there's going to be one thing I want to do is take away some extra spacing on here. And that's going to be about 20 pixels. Okay, and that's going to set that up for my next, let's see. So I have to figure out where I'm at now. Okay, now I need one more title, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to reuse this title here. So I'm going to copy this title. I'm going to click on my text, and I don't know if you guys know you can do this, but if you click and right click on the content above it, it'll put it right where you want it underneath it. So now I'm going to format this because I'm going to change this to an H4. But we're going to change this to a different font. And then I think this, I'm going to set that. Honey. 300. Okay. Okay, so we've formatted that. That's going to be our signature title. And so my spacing seems to be right, but I think, yeah, everything looks okay. So, but if you need to adjust spacing, you know, just go into your margins or paddings and adjust it to whatever you want between your paragraphs and your titles. I should have fed them before I started. Okay, so now we have another section in our sidebar that we're going to add, and it's actually a divider. So we're going to go over here and drag a divider. And again, I want to make sure it's in here. So let me make, and sometimes if you can't do that, you can oftentimes put it above the previous item and just move your item back over so that you know that you're still, see the blue line, so that you can get that in there. So with this, I want to do a little bit of formatting on this divider. And let's see, I'm going to add, I've got to make sure I have the divider selected. I am going to add this element, the text element. And we can actually change, add text to this and make it a little bit different. And just by formatting a few things. So let's see, I'm going to, yeah. So first thing I'm going to move is the text. I'm going to position the text on the left of the divider line. And then I'm going to actually want my primary color there, but I want to change the font size. I think I want this at 20. Yeah, there you go, 20. Okay, and I need to also, let's see, I want that at 20 and 600. And then I want to also set the divider. I want to make that a little bit bigger. So I'm going to put a 3 in there. But I'm also going to assign it our green tint. Because remember, we want to just reuse those colors over and over again. Okay, now I do want to change the title to my personal favorites. Okay. And if you want to add more spacing between the divider and that title, that's real easy. Just come over to this gap here, and let's say I want to decrease that a little bit. Oh wait, I'm sorry, that was the wrong place. The gap is actually up the top and the bottom of the divider. That's the gap. It's in the text that you might want to see how I can change that. And actually we put 20, so it puts it a little bit further away. So you can add spacing between that using the text spacing. Okay. Okay, so now remember that we, sorry, don't have the demo anymore. Forgot about that. So remember on our demo, we had some other blog posts here. So how do you think that we can add the blog posts really quickly? And you can answer that if you want to. But what we're going to do is we're just going to actually use what we already have. So we're actually going to go over here to our blog post and we're going to copy this. And again, I'm going to just click on the item that I have above it and I'm going to paste. And now we have our blog posts in here, but we need to make them a little bit smaller, right? We don't want all of this in here. So, and actually I'm going to change this area from cards back to the classic. And then I'm going to move this to one column. And notice that our picture is like way too big. Honey, no, I can't right now. I'm sorry. So in order to rectify that, we're going to move our image over to the left. But notice that we can't even see our content anymore. So now we have to actually resize the image to make it fit in the area that we're working with. So what we're going to do, notice that I now have an image width. And so I have the ability to change this for our desktop and our mobile, our tablet and mobile devices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this at 33%. See, now I'm working with percentage. And see our content is back. So I am going to leave the title as an H3, but we're going to style it again. But we're not going to actually show the excerpt because we don't need the excerpt in this area. We just need the title and we don't need this metadata here as well. So we're going to get rid of that. And now we just have the title and our link. But also we just want 3 items here. So we change that post per page to 3. And I'm going to come back to the query, I think. So let's see, where am I at? Let's move that, 33, metadata. Yeah, so what we want to show here, notice that it's our personal favorites. So we want to change the query because remember, this is pulling all of our blog posts. So what we need to do is come over here and change our query so that we include the category for, and we can search for our favorites, if I can spell. And now it's just going to pull up those blog posts that have been marked as favorites. And again, that I need to style now. So I'm going to style my content here. I need my color, and I want that, but obviously we don't want it that big. So let's put this, I think that it was going to do 18 pixels, and yeah, we're going to keep that at 600. And we need to change that to, what happened? And this is where I like to use M's, because I just rather use M's to do spacing. And I think I usually set this about 1.3. Yeah, that looks good. So that looks pretty good, but we probably would want to adjust the row gaps just a little bit. Maybe take this down to 20 and see how that looks a little bit better. Okay, so now we've got our blog post for the site. See how easy that was? Just make a few changes to the styles and to the settings, and we've got everything ready. Okay, do you have any questions going, Greg?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Doing good. Looking good.
So now this is probably a good time to check whether or not this is going to work in our mobile view. So what I'm going to do is look at the tablet first, and notice how it doesn't look all that well in the tablet. Maybe we might need to go back and adjust a few things, even our personal favorites here. So what I'll probably do on this is decrease the font. I probably would use, maybe go down to 16, I think, here. Yep. So at least I have some green space in there. And then over here, I want to change that back to 1 because it went to 2. And looks like we need to just change our font for our, and let's try 18. I don't really like that. So there we go. So now that's set up for the tablet. And let's look at our mobile. And notice that even our mobile, the pictures are too big. So we need to go and adjust that back for the mobile. My personal favorites looks fine. I would probably also, because I don't like this going to the edge here. So what I would do while I'm here is just set a left and right padding for 10. So that just takes it off of the edge a little bit. See how that looks?
The intersection, right?
Sorry?
That's on the intersection you're padding?
Yes. Yeah, notice that I did select the intersection, and I just went to advanced and I just set some padding for the left and the right. So now I'm.
Quick question from Freed. She asked, why are you using copy and paste instead of duplicate earlier?
On this, because
before, when you're adding new items.
Why am I using copy and paste? But one, I'm not.
I guess instead of duplicating and moving the item down. Pretty, you want to jump in here?
Maybe that's just how I work, but you want to make sure that you can change the things. You don't necessarily. I use duplicating for when I need things to stay exactly the same. When I know that things are going to change, I can just copy and paste. And duplicating means that you have to move, because it's just going to duplicate it right underneath and you have to move. And whereas with copy and paste, I can get it exactly where I want it.
Thank you. That explains. Thanks.
Okay. Okie doke. Let's see. So we need to adjust this a little bit. And once again, I'm just going to change the image to 33%, and that seems to fix everything there. So we are good to go. So going back to our desktop there, and we're going to just update so that we can keep our changes from disappearing. Okay, now I am going to copy this because I want to use this again. And all I need to do is change the content here. Look. I'm sorry, honey, you just gotta wait. Okay. Okay, so what I'm doing is setting this up. Remember, we had ads that we could actually put in. So, so what we're going to use in our ads is our CTA. So we're going to drag our CTA widget over, and we're going to make some adjustments to this. Because remember, our ad was just a little square, so we can actually make some changes here. Crystal, no. So we have a classic, which is what this is displayed as now, and we have cover, and we're going to change that to cover. And we're actually going to bring our image in. And now we've got an image, and we're going to clean this up a little bit. We just want the heading there, so we're going to get rid of some content. And then I want to fix this button to use our green tint. So let's go over. Oh, and I want the, before I do that, let me change this to an H3. There we go. And we go over to the button area. Hey, baby, I'm sorry. Just wait a second. So for the normal state, I am going to put the text in a light background and change the background to use our green. And to get rid of that border, we're just going to pull that and then pull it to where it's at 0. So now we don't have that that border. And on the hover state, I am going to also set this, but we're going to use our accent color here. So there we go. We have that all set up and ready. Real easy. And now we're going to go back and copy our divider one more time. I'm going to click here and then paste. And then we're going to change this to explore. Okay. And now, I think whoever asked me, why don't I duplicate? Well, I'm actually going to duplicate this time. So let's see, I am going to create, this is our last section. And what I'm going to do is use this CTA. And I'm going to actually, am I going to copy this first? Yeah, I'm going to copy it first. I'm going to paste it, and then what I'm going to do is make all my changes for this one, because remember, we had little blocks. It wasn't this size. We want these to become little blocks now. So I am going to, I don't want the heading. All I want is the button. So we're going to go over to our content and get rid of our heading. And now we just have our button. let's see, also what I want to do is, I also want to make sure that the button stays in the middle. So make sure I set my vertical position to middle. And then I do need to style my button because what I want is to kind of reverse this a little bit. There we go. But I don't want the hover to be that. And let's see. Yeah. Okay. And then we're going to do one more thing. So notice how when we hover over that both the button and the image are being zoomed in. So let's just change that a little bit to where we're going to change the button to shrink when we hover over it. So notice how the button goes back and the image comes forward. Now, and the last thing we're going to do is just change this height to 100 pixels. Yes, I would probably figure out what the vertical height is, but I think when I was doing this exercise, I just did 100 pixels because I knew that's what I wanted. Now, oh, and I need a different picture here. So let's go over here, and I've got this picture, and there we go. So now I need 2 more of these, and since I have everything set up, I am just going to duplicate this. And all I have to do now is to change my image and then change my image for this one. And there, I'm done. Also, you know, we mentioned that we could have these go somewhere. So be sure if you want to put a link, that you link them to whatever your pages are. But I'm not going to worry about that here. Now, this is all we're putting into our sidebar. So I'm going to get rid of that extra space that I had actually put in there. So I'm going to go back up and select the intersection and make sure that I don't have any extra space. So, and I'm just going to save this. And I am pretty sure that I have everything within the intersection because you can see the blue outline. So now my next step is to save this as a template. So right click and save it as a template. And then you're going to enter your template name. And I always like to put template in front of my names. And actually, since I did this so many times, and we're going to save that. And it's going to show up in my templates. Now, so we've made everything show up. This is everything that we want in the template. And we've created our template. And to actually see that we have our template, let's see, we go to save templates, and here it is. There's our template, our healthy lifestyle sidebar. Now, if you go and look at this in the template area, it is not going to look the same. You're going to freak out because you're like, no, that's not what I set up. See how big the picture is? Everything is not, so don't worry. It's not going to look like this. So what we're going to do is actually go back to our home page, and we're going to do something pretty scary. We're going to delete everything we just did. So we're going to delete that intersection, and we are going to, let's see. Oh, so to get our template, we are actually going to search for a widget called template. And we're going to drag that over, and we're going to actually find our template. And remember, we use the word sidebar in there, so we can probably find it by doing that. And once we've done that, now our sidebar template is here. And notice, if you can see, that there's kind of like a little orange border around it. That means I can't edit anything. So notice that I can't select anything in here. So that keeps us from editing right here on the home page. And I think there's a little border in here that I probably want to get rid of because we want both of these to line up. I forgot about that. Yep. Oops. Nope. Nope. I need this. There was. Is it here that I want? I think it's on the column. Yeah. Okay. I just notice little things all the time. So, okay, so we are pretty much, look how well we've gotten through there. And now this is just our blog post list. So we go back to our home page and we can refresh and notice we have our blog post list. Yay! So we can go to the next step, which is going to create our category page. So a lot of times you maybe, okay, I've actually got a sample on here. We've got a feature category, a breakfast category, and fruits category. So maybe you want to see these different categories and you can actually put them on your menu or put like a drop-down selection or something like that. It's just depending on how your blog is set up and how you want to present the ability to get to these different categories. So let's go back in and we're going to go back out of here. We're actually going to exit the home page and we are going to go out to all pages and we're going to create a duplicate of our home page. And notice that I already have pages, so we don't want to use those. We want to create our own. So we are going to quickly change this. I think let's just call it healthy. Are we doing a breakfast category? I think, yeah, let's do a breakfast. And this should be, okay. And then we're going to go in to edit it. So all we want to do is to make a category page out of this. So the first thing we're going to do is actually add a title to this page so that, you know, we kind of want to tell people where they're at anytime they land here. So what we're going to do is use what is called a dynamic tag so that we don't have to actually type in the name of this page. That dynamic tag is actually going to pull this title in. It's going to automatically know where that's coming from. So on the dynamic tag, I'm in the post. And so what I want to do is get this post title. And notice that it pulled the healthy breakfast category title in there. And definitely want to make that an H1. And it's actually formatted, so I don't have to do anything else. Now, let's see. So now we just need to change these post widgets to only show our breakfast category. So we want to make sure that we go over everything is fine. We want to keep the same formatting, everything else that we have there, but all we want is our categories for breakfast. So we are going over to our query. And notice that we are going to still keep it at post. We're just going to include the term. Remember, we did this before. We did that where we were picking our favorites. So now we just want to pick our breakfast. And notice now we have categories for breakfast. And notice all of our posts changed to show that. And I think Do I want to, yeah, I think I want to do everything that shows up. Okay. And I think we're done there. So the only thing we need to do now is to add this page to the menu. Because remember, we've just created it. And so we're going to publish this. And we're going to go over to our menu. Come on, come on. Remember, kind of like the last time, you know, we just have to replace it with our new breakfast menu, and which is called Healthy Breakfast. So I'm going to replace that one. I'm going to remove this one. And also, oh, come on, come on. Also, just leave the title to breakfast. Oh, 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 oh. Okay. And we want to be sure to save that. Okay. And now let's go over and refresh our homepage. And look at our breakfast category that we just did. See, pretty cool. We didn't have to recreate the sidebar. It automatically, it was already there, and we didn't spend a lot of time. All we did was just change a query. So that page and all the other pages that you want to do for your category is going to be really easy to create. So how many of you think you can do that? Yeah. Good, good. I'm glad to hear that. So you see how easy it is? You just got to, and you guys know all the styling that we've been doing. You can change this, like, you know, to match anything that you're doing. You know, if this was more dedicated to a female audience, maybe I'd want to change the color to pink or purple or something. It's real easy to do. And you can change the layouts any way that, you know, more ways than one. So we're actually going to do something else to show you a different layout. So we're going to go back to our theme builder. And so now we're going, our next step is to work on our blog post page. So remember when we looked at the blog post, it wasn't really, it was just kind of straight content. That's all it was. So now we actually need to build that blog post page as it's going to be part of what's called a single post. So we're going to come over here and select the single post tab. And notice we don't have anything there. So we're going to add a new single post. And notice that that is selected there. And all we need to do is add our template name. And I thought it would show up since I've done it already. So template, and I think it's this one right here. And you're probably wondering, why am I giving it such long names? And the thing is, if you do a lot of websites, you've probably seen some other template names pop up. I do a lot of different clients' websites. So I tend to either use the client's name, and I always put template in front of it because it helps me to know it is a template and I'm not just giving it any ordinary name. I try to be very specific about what it is I'm creating. And so a lot of times I use the client's company name or something in front of, or company initials or something to help me out. And that way I'm not looking through a freaking list every time I need to do a search for it. Okay, so I am going to get rid of that. So now what we're going to do is copy again. We're going to copy what we've already created. So, you know, why would we want to redo something if we've already got it done? So we're going to go back out and go to our home page. And actually, I'm going to use this other tab. And I'm going to go out, go back out and go to our home page. Wait for that to load. And then I am actually going to copy this entire main section. So I'm going to select the section indicator and right click on it and copy it. And I'm going to come back over here and just right click and paste. Okay, so now what we want to do is just change a few things up. So what we're going to do is take this post widget and we're going to delete we're going to delete it. And we are going to now take a, hello, there we go. I'm going to take I'm sorry, I think I need it to, well, no, this is fine, this is fine. So we're going to do a title, and we're going to do the post title, and we also need to bring in a featured image, and I do need to change that. So I'm sorry, that should have been the post title. Let me delete this. Oh, sorry. I need to pull this one over, sorry. I want the post title. Because remember, we're working on our blog post page. So we want the post title, not a page title. And although we could have done that with the header, you kind of use the tools that are meant to be used. So this is already formatted to pull in the post title, so we should use it. Okay, so we got our featured image, and now we actually need some info. We want to bring in our post info. Remember, we had a date under there. So we don't want all this, so we're going to get rid of the things that we don't want. We're going to keep the date. And then also, I'm going to take, remove that icon, because we just want our date here. And I want to style my date to be in this gray color, and then everything else is fine. Okay, let's see. Featuring post info. Okay, and now we actually also want to show our categories here. And so what we're going to do is copy something. Again, we're going to copy something that we've already used, because notice in our sidebar we had our healthy food blogger, and that's the exact format that I want in this. I want the category to show up as. So I'm going to go back over here, and remember, I can't do it in the home page. I actually have to go to the template, because I can't select anything. Oops, I need to save template, sorry. Just remember, I can't select anything unless I'm in the template. So I'm going to come right here, and then I'm going to copy this. And you would not duplicate there, because you can't drag it from screen to screen, but you can copy and paste from screen to screen. So now I'm going to paste that, but I want it above here, and I want it left align. I'm probably going to change that back up to an H3. And then what I want to do here, sorry, oh, come on. So I chose the dynamic tag, and obviously we're in a post, so we want to do the post terms, and I want to change the taxonomy to categories, and that's all I'm going to do. I do think I want the font a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to come over and increase that up. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. I have my categories now. Okay, so now looks like we need our content. So we go over here and pull in the post content, and notice that we have something. Now, you notice that it just pulled up, I think, our last post. If you want to see a different post, that's real easy to do. You just come over to the settings gear, And in the preview settings, you can actually tell it that, okay, I want to see a post. And then let's see that, let's say, oh, I remember I had a salad post that I want to look at. So you can do a search for salad and then just apply and preview once you find the post that you want to look at. So you can probably use, that as an example and to kind of give yourself a guide what you want to go by, because it has all the elements. Maybe you have a post that has more elements or something than another post does. So if you really want to see how things look, that would be the best choice to do. So now I have my content in, and let's see. So we just want to add a few more items just to finish this page off. So for instance, we probably would like to navigate from one page to another, from different posts to another post. So the next thing that I am going to add is some navigation. And that is right here. And again, I want to make sure. And again, as you might have noticed that I'm keeping things really streamlined here. And so I just want to clean up the navigation a little bit. Like I don't want the titles there. So we are just going to keep the labels and the arrows. And let's change the arrows to a chevron. I don't want the title, and I think I'm going to take the borders away too. And then for styling, I think what I want to do for the label is just increase that a little bit, that font. I can't, I'm busy. And I think, yeah, I want to bold that. Okay. And I think I might look at the size of the arrow because I think that's a little big, but let's go up to 18. Yeah. Okay. So my cat is now in front of my screen over here, so it's getting a little hard for me to see things. Okay. What are you getting in? All right, so I've got that, and let's see, categories. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. No, get down. Get down. Get down. I don't know what's in there. Sorry. Okay, let's see. So I need to add, I think we had some social icons to share. Actually, there's share icons. So I'm going to come over to my widgets and I'm going to look for the share buttons. I'm going to bring those down. And again, all we're going to do is format these. And of course, don't forget to put your links in there, but I'm going to skip that part because I'm trying to keep us in a time frame here. And I just want to show the icon, and let's change the skin to be minimal because that's kind of staying with our theme. And we'll put them in a circle. Okay, and then I'm just going to change the style a little bit by changing this to custom. And let's change our primary color to use our green. And let's set that to white. And also, when I hover, I just want it to change a little bit. Okay, did I do that? Yeah. Okay. Now, I probably would want to put a heading over that and call it share this post. Change that to an H3. And I am also going to add some spacing just above that. So I don't want that much. So I'm going to put that at 20. So I just have not so close to the navigation there. Okay. So the next thing that I think we had some related articles. So that's, again, we're going to need a title for that. So we're going to add that. again, change the header. And I probably also want to use a spacer. And I'm just going to copy this one here and to actually add it right under here. Okay. So to add our related articles, we're just going to bring over a post widget from our home page. So we're going to go back over there and get the post widget and come back over to our blog post and paste this under here. So let's make sure we're not in the home page. So we have to go back out. Remember, we got our home page here. I will feed you soon. It'll be soon. Just a minute.
This game has not gone very well. It was your brother's fault.
All right. And again, remember that all we have to do with the posts is just change the query to what we're looking for. So this is for related articles. So what we're going to do is go into our query. And first thing we want to do is change it to related, so that the source is related here. And then one other thing that you might want to do, and well, I'm going to change the number that's showing up as well, but another thing that you want to do, we've already changed the source to related, but the thing that we don't want to happen is to have any current posts. For instance, if I'm looking at that salad post, I probably don't want to see it listed again in the related articles. So in this circumstance, I'm going to tell it to exclude the current post. So that way I won't see it again down here. And then on the layout, I think what I'm going to do is just limit this to 4. And so see, that's what we have. We have our related articles and we've limited it to 4, and there is no current post in here. So yay.
Sharon, what determines that it's related?
Well, the categories.
Category.
So the categories is like, let's see, what are we showing here? So I think the categories in here was breakfast, and it could be like the favorites, whatever you have checked, either one of these. So either one of these categories will probably show up, but the page is dedicated to breakfast categories. So the breakfast is what we're really looking for.
Right, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so what we want to do now, we're ready to publish this, and we need to add our condition to make sure that this covers all of our posts. So we want to include all posts in this, and we're going to save and close. So to make sure that we actually have a good post, let's go back to our home page now. If we click on one of our posts, see, now you have your post page. You have your sidebar and your post page already. Okay, who's got the kids?
Watch today.
Somebody needs to mute. Okay, so that's that for your blog post page. And the last few things that we're going to do, remember, it's still not in this homepage, but it is going to be in the homepage. I'm just going to add a couple of nice features, and I'm not going to show you how to do it because I'm thinking you can figure it out, because I've already got the templates ready. And actually, I think I have the homepage open. Yeah, let's just do it right here. So, so I had a area where we had featured some featured squares there. So what we're going to do is add a section here, and we're going to go and look for a template that I've already got done, and it is the feature. And this is actually using the Actually, I put the wrong thing in there. Sorry. This is supposed to be a demo. Now I've got to figure out how to get rid of that damn title. Let's see. Sorry. Let me do that again. I pulled the wrong thing in. Feature block. Okay. So now that we've got this in, all I need to do is change the skin to custom, because I don't want this, I want custom, and then it'll show me, as you notice that there wasn't anything under the skin when the page loaded. And so I've got to kind of get the page to reload so I can tell it what template to look for. And the template that I want is that featured loop that I tried to put in before. So this loop is what uses the Elementor custom skin plugin that we showed you. And basically, I'm going to go back out and show you that template. But the only way that you can create something like this. Notice that, oh, and I think I do need to change the query too. Or that might be already done for me. Let me make sure, I'm sorry. Feature blocks, and yes, I do need to change the query to featured. So I want to make sure I put in my term and then that I am only going to look for my featured items. Yep, there we go. But otherwise, I have a template for that. And to create the template, you go to the loop first. You have to create your loop. And notice I've got the loop already done. And it's going to look stretched across the page because all you're going to do is one. And you set it up here. And basically, you notice that I have a background image in here. And it's actually pulling a featured image. And then I have it set up to where it's centered and it's no repeat and it's a cover. And then, of course, we're pulling in our post title and a category. So that's all. You just set it up as if you were going to be creating, duplicates of that. But what really, and this is the how the custom skins work, is really, excuse me, when we go over to, I created a template for the featured blocks. So that's the template that I pulled in to the home page. And so the featured block is actually pulling that here into the post. And so we're just setting this section up so that we can pull it in. And then once we get it into the post, we make all the changes that we want to affect that page. And so you have your feature blocks. And I want to add one more thing here. We're going to add a subscribe bar. So I'm going to come over to our main section again, and I'm just going to add another section. And it is, where's my subscribe bar? Here it is. So now I've got the subscribe bar in, and notice that it is just a title, some text, and a form. And the only thing I want to point out on the form, because I don't see a lot of people doing this, but it's really important when we're sending information through, like either you're sending it to your mailing list or something, that the form has a name. So I don't know if y'all have ever noticed this. I think we go directly to the fields and start setting up the fields and stuff. But be sure to give your form a name. And also your fields need a name as well. And it's sometimes referred, in Elementor, it's referred to as an ID. If you're using, like I use, I think it's, I want to say frequent. It's not, I don't know, it may be frequent forms or something else. But anyway, it uses a name, attribute name. So it could have both titles assigned to it. But you'll notice here in the short code that you can use this elsewhere. So if you don't give it an identity, it's just going to have a default assigned to it from Elementor or whatever form builder you're using. And that's going to be very hard to reuse. So you want to give all of your fields and your forms a name and your buttons. So your button has an ID as well. So make sure you try to assign those when you're using your forms. And then that's it. I think if I save that and then come back out to my home page.
Sharon?
Yeah.
Stacy had a question about how you add the featured image to the loop. The background image.
It just added it. Let me go back out.
Just to mention to everyone else, the loop tab only shows up when you have Elementor Custom Skins plugin installed.
Yeah. The loop tab shows up and this custom grid tab shows up. I've never created a custom grid yet because I've gotten by without creating it using a template. Keep trying to find a situation for me to create a custom grid. So I hope that's something else I can do later. So in the loop, you obviously want to know what your elements are going to be. And I knew there was going to be a background image and a title and a category. So I'm working with the section. So in the section, all I did was go in and you'll see here, and it usually shows up as an image. Let me just delete this so you can see. So you have your image here, but you also, in the image, you also have dynamic tags in your image that you can use. So I've just pulled up the dynamic tab and I picked that I want to choose the feature image. So that's how the image is showing up, because it's just using, again, just picking a default post and it's pulling that featured image over. So, you know, when we go back and make our query assignment, then it's pulling whatever's assigned to those posts in that query. Does that help? Yes, no?
Yeah, I think that explained it well.
Okay. All right. So that's it. You'll notice that we've created our blog posts page, so which is our home page. We've created some featured pages. And I forgot, you know, I just had these created. I didn't have the sidebar, so, but we did one for the sidebar. So, and you can see how easy it is. Like if I went back to this featured page, I could actually probably just delete that and pull in a copy of the homepage, and just, again, like we did, is make the changes to the articles and it'll already have my sidebar there. So you see how easy it would be just to create the other category pages. And then there is a contact page, which again has a form in it, you know, real easy to create as well. So there you go. And the thing is that we didn't use, you know, any theme. We just relied on our hello theme, which is totally blank, doesn't have any styling in it. And a lot of themes out there, if you're kind of committed to their styles, and you're going to have a hard time either figuring out how to overwrite those styles and stuff. So we're just by a little investment with Elementor Pro and a few other plugins, you can create this really great stylish blog post. Any questions?
Any final questions? Unmute your mic and jump in.
And I'm sorry, I know this took almost the whole time, but it is, you know, I wanted to make sure.
Well worth it, I'm sure. Very good. Yeah, there will be, we are recording, and I'll email that out to everyone when it's done processing. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate it very much. It was very, very good. Very thorough.
And if you have, you know, any questions or anything, you can find me. Of course, now it starts all over. I didn't want to do that. How do I get to my last?
There's a link in the notes to her Elementor
Yes.
Dallas page, so you can visit her there.
Yeah. And you can come, I think Greg already mentioned what our next meeting was, where Angela Bowman is going to be our guest speaker, and she's going to do a presentation on our, Greg, you said it now, I just totally
Yoast?
lost. Yes,
Yoast.
thank you, our Yoast. And you know, Elementor has combined with Yoast, and so she's going to show us all these features that help us work with both Elementor and Yoast. Well, I'm disappointed y'all don't have any questions either. I did a really good explanation.
I think you
Are
did.
y'all-
That's very good. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks mostly to Sharon. You guys take care. I'm going to close out.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I guess I need to quit sharing, right? Let's see.